Hi everyone, my name is Valerie, and I am the most flexible girl in my town. My flexibility wasn't born with me, I worked long and hard for it. Why, you may ask? That's what I'm about to tell you. I was born into a family where both of my parents are dancers. My father was a choreographer most of his life as a teacher in a ballet school, and my mother is a gymnast. They met in training many years ago, and because of their busy schedules, saw each other only for work. That's when they got married, and then I was born. I never had a normal childhood. I went to and from gymnastics and then to dance. My father thought that dancing was more feminine, and my mother thought that gymnastics was more promising than dancing. So they decided to lead me with both, but did not take into account one thing: that I'm actually a person who has their own likes and dislikes. Until age 8, I went to school, gymnastics, and dancing. Then after 8, I began to ask my parents to change my coach or school. In short, I did everything, just not go back neither here nor there. At 9, I had the courage to admit for the first time that I didn't like what I was doing. My mom and dad almost had a heart attack, and I haven't brought it up since. I shoved my opinion away again and continued. That was until I was 14 years old. By that age, I had already managed to collect a bunch of medals, certificates, and other awards for the best performances in dance and gymnastics. I was praised by everyone, and I also began to represent the school and participate on its behalf, even abroad. Of course, that's why everyone loved me, especially the principal. He made concessions and gave me A's in subjects that I didn't have time to do or didn't want to do. At school, I was nicknamed a snake, not because of my bad temper, but because I was so flexible. I was the most flexible girl in town with a gorgeous figure, trim body, and demanding parents. They closely monitored my regimen, my diet, and my schedule in general. One day, my friend and I went for a walk. It was warm. It was autumn. She wanted to have an ice cream, but I stood in front of the trailer and froze. "What are you doing? Don't you have any money? Let me buy you one." "Oh no, it's not about the money." "Then what is it?" "I've never had sugar in my life." "What? Are you serious?" "Yeah." "What about cookies?" "No." "Cakes?" "No." "Candy, chocolate, shakes?" "No." "How do you live at all?" "Fructose." "What's that?" "When I have a craving for sweets, my mom gives me an apple." "Man, I'm sorry. What if your mom doesn't find out? One ice cream won't ruin anything, will it?" "I don't know. I'm a gymnast. I'm a dancer. You can tell by my figure that I don't eat too much." "Look, I'm no psychologist, but you seem traumatized. Just let yourself relax. You're 14 years old. A lot of people your age have had more than ice cream." "I know." "Well then, here. Have mine, and I'll buy another one." Timidly, I reached out my hand and held something cold to my face. It looked delicious in a crispy cone, smelling of vanilla and chocolate syrup poured on top. "Go on, eat it." I licked a little, and my pupils must have dilated. "Oh my gosh, that's delicious." "Of course it tastes good. If it didn't, I wouldn't have offered it to you." I ate it in 2 seconds, and then I got the money and bought 2 more. I ate and ate, happy as an elephant. Cindy laughed, eating hers leisurely. "Why did you get 2 more of those? There are a lot of different flavors." "Different? How do you mean?" "There's lemon, pistachio, plain chocolate, creamy, and all kinds of things." "Have you tried them all?" "Yeah." I envy you. On the one hand, you're easy to surprise." I ate 2 more popsicles, then I bought a 3rd. "All right, that's it, let's go." "Why?" "You can have a little bit of the good stuff. One won't do anything, but you ate 3 in 10 minutes. That's enough for the first time." We left there and I went home. Mom had just boiled asparagus for me and called me in for dinner. After such a dessert, my food seemed so gray and boring, tasteless and even disgusting. Mom asked why I wasn't eating. I knew that if I told her the truth, she would tear me up. So I told her that I snacked on cucumbers at school. "Why aren't you eating according to your regimen?" "I was hungry." "Did you run a lot at school? Did you drink water?" "Yes." "Look, keep your water level normal." "Okay, Mom, can I go?" "Wait." "What?" I asked, scared. "Your mouth is stained." "What is it?" Mom came up and licked her finger, but before that, I managed to wipe my mouth. It's probably toothpaste. Why did you brush your teeth before dinner? Cucumbers always leave a bad aftertaste. All right, go. I went to bed and all night I dreamt of eating ice cream. The next morning I ran to school, and after school, I asked Cindy to buy one with me again. I bought 4 of them and ate them with gusto. And then the next day and another and another. Then the number went up to 7 at a time. Cindy was already trying to stop me, but I reacted aggressively like it's none of her business what I eat. After a week, my mom started asking me more questions about why I stopped eating lunch, and I mumbled something back. I don't remember what. And then my mom asked me to stand on the scale. We weighed every week. How much is that? Where did you gain an extra kilo? I don't know. Answer me. I don't know, Mom. Don't lie to me. What do you eat after school? Nothing. I'll ask you one last time. She yelled so hard, her eyes almost popped out of her head. I stood my ground. Mom let me go, but I realized that I wouldn't be able to eat openly now. The next day, I bought a box of ice cream and technically brought it home, ate dinner, and began to eat ice cream at night. I saved the boxes under my bed because I forgot to take them out in the morning. And after a couple of days, of course, my mom found my treasure. She had laid out the boxes on the table, and when I came home from school, she greeted me with an angry face. She told my dad about everything, and they scolded me, saying that I was ruining all their hard work, their investment in me, that I didn't value my workouts, my body, or my time, that I was an ungrateful daughter and all that. That's when I couldn't take it anymore and blew up in response. I said everything I'd wanted to for so long. That they never even perceived me as an individual, that they realized their dreams through me, that my father doesn't know how to dance, just teach, and decided to get that off on me. And my mother, after childhood, lost her shape and decided to make a doll without fat with perfect skin out of me. My parents froze, my mom cried, and my dad drooped in on himself. We didn't speak for 2 weeks. I brazenly bought ice cream and ate several boxes every day. My stomach quickly stretched. I felt hungry and started eating cookies, candy, chocolate. I ate everything sweet, but excluded fruits and vegetables altogether. My parents kept quiet. I didn't care until I couldn't get into my favorite dress. I was hysterical when I looked down at my legs. My belly had appeared, fat skin, and I had huge breasts. My figure looked ugly. Cindy told me it was a consequence of my abnormal gorging, which was understandable to a fool. I wore the dress, though, and we went to a car race with the guys. Car races were an occasional event in our town. They were more for amateurs, and more often, people just gathered to socialize there. I had to throw a handkerchief in this dress, and as I stood between the cars, there was an, "Ooh, where's slender Valerie? Who's that cow in her place? Did she eat her? Ha ha ha." I threw a handkerchief, but they saw me standing there, taking pictures of my belly. All the girls were especially happy because they'd always been jealous of me. I ran home in despair and tears, asked my parents for forgiveness, and said that I was now ugly and fat. It's our fault. Why? You're right. Your father and I made our dreams come true through you, and we forgot to ask you what you wanted. We forgot that you're a child and that you sometimes crave sweets and want a break from your regimen and workouts. And we... Forgive us. We thought about it and decided that if you don't want to, you don't have to dance or do gymnastics. Are you serious? You're still, for us, the most flexible and beautiful girl with a lot of victories under your belt. You're done. Mom, Dad, I love you. These were the words I was waiting for. I hugged them. My parents helped me make a new diet and exercise plan to lose weight. I didn't get it until 6 months later, but I'm glad I got rid of the extra pounds altogether. What do I do now? I paint. I've always liked it. My dad takes me to courses, and my mom has diluted the home kitchen with desserts in small quantities. All in all, I'm doing well now. Do I miss dancing? No. Gymnastics? No. I still have a great form, only now I use it to pick up an angle when I'm painting sunsets on my easel, which helps, by the way.
My name is Mike, and I'm the smartest person in the family. Just don't think I'm bragging right now. No, I just am who I am. Besides me, there are my 2 brothers. I'm the youngest. I'm the only one who's doing well in school. My brothers Chris and Tom dropped out of high school without ever graduating. They decided that it would be good if I worked for my father's company. He was engaged in buying and reselling cars. It was a good business, but I had other plans for my life. However, my family did not share my point of view. Mike, are you sure you want to finish school? Your brothers dropped out of school at your age and are working with me on the sly. You're wasting your time. That's right, Dad, I'm sure. You already have 2 assistants. Boy, don't throw food. Sorry, Mum, it's all Tom. You started it, and you continued. And the boys started throwing food again. My mother sighed and said, Bill, if Mike wants, let him learn. When he gets tired, then you can take him with you. And what if you don't get bored? Isn't he going to go to college? What's the big deal? Is education a bad thing? I would understand if you liked math or at least literature, but you're into the weather. So what? Not the weather, Dad, but meteorology. What difference does it make, son? If you're the weather forecaster, why are you so narrow-minded? Okay, son, that's enough. We'll talk about something else over dinner. Haha, Mum, is Mike going to predict the weather? At that time, I made some conclusions for myself, that if we do not strengthen the dam more, we will not be able to withstand a large stream of rain. If this happens, then our part of the city will simply be flooded with water. And if I wasn't mistaken, the rain was going to start in 2 days, and I didn't have much time. I was so confused that I ran to my parents and told them what to expect, but they wouldn't even listen. My father said it was my invention, and my mother didn't want to listen. Then I decided to appeal to the locals, to warn them of the danger. Mr. Thomas had lived very close to the dam for many years, and I went to see him. What? What rainstorm? Not happening. I've lived here half a century, and the dam is so secure. We're safe. But I checked the soil. The dam is already loose. No one has updated it. You need to cover it with stones and make a strong mesh. Otherwise, the trouble will not pass. This is nonsense, son. No offence. But there's no reason to panic. My house will definitely not be demolished. I built it on my conscience. Moreover, our mayor only recently spoke about the strength of the dam. The mayor? Has he been here long? He lives very, very far away from town. I appreciate your concern, Mike, but you better go home now and do your homework. And what did you come up with? We have to find a lot of rocks, a lot of them. At first I was happy about the appearance of the press, but they made something comical out of the plot. The local meteorologist said it wouldn't rain, but I didn't believe them. Hey, are you so sure about your predictions? No, it's just that I support you as a friend, but no one believes us. My ancestors also laughed, and that's it. An hour later, a couple of cars arrived. The mayor was there, and the journalists. He once again showed us the strength of the dam, and then it came to us. Said that he thanked us for the initiative, and asked us to not cause panic. Panic? What do you mean, sir? I'm talking about a real-life storm. Why doesn't anyone believe me here? Look at my calculations. But the mayor was smiling at the camera. Then a hired meteorologist approached them who refuted all the conclusions. How can you? Thank you all. The press is free. Son, go home. I was so angry that I didn't know what to do with myself. Harry and I did as much as we could. We covered a small part with stones. Then they covered it with a mesh that I found at home. It was very sunny, and there was no sign of trouble. But there was no strength left. Then we went home, and when I arrived, my family was watching the news. We saw you on TV, your infamous moment of glory. Now you definitely won't be accepted into college after this. You'll be working with us. Dad needs a cleaner at the firm now, just right. It was such heavy downpour, and it never stopped. After 4 hours, as I said, there was so much water that even flooded the basements of some houses. My father was panicked about the cars, even though I had warned him to put them away. The news broadcast an assault warning, and then I heard BAM! Part of the dam broke. It just collapsed. But not from the side that Harry and I were doing. I was just laying stones on the part that had a couple of houses, including Mr. Thomas's house. Mike, what's going on? My father asked in a panic. Something I've been talking about for a couple of days, but no one's been listening to me, Dad. Still, there were some losses. Some houses were particularly damaged due to the dam, and even though the water went quickly away, still I was right. The very next day the press came to my house, and I was given the word I'd been waiting for, but it was too late. Everyone began to resent the mayor's behaviour, and, as it turned out, he was no longer in the city. He had gone somewhere else. Mr. Thomas came running to us the next day, and began to cry and thank me. You saved my house. I owe you everything, son. My parents looked at me like I was a weirdo, and I didn't expect anything else. In my family, I'm the only one with intelligence, so what do you get out of it? The police were looking for the mayor, and the city itself was recovering slowly on its own. Now, everyone was waiting for my forecasts, and I was offered a job at the local station. I'm still thinking, I don't want to get stuck here. At that moment, when no one was listening to me, I already realised that I definitely did not want to live here. I want to move on. By the way, my father gave me the go-ahead to go to college, and he said that if I didn't get a scholarship, I'd pay for it. He apologised, and so did my mother, except for my brothers, who were just silent and in shock. So, what would you do in my place?